Every night when the TV went to static after midnight, she heard a voice whispering her name. But every night when the TV went to static after midnight, she heard a voice whispering her name. She hadn't been able to make out any words at first, just the feeling that something was there. She could feel it watching her from the corner of her eye. Sometimes when she turned around, there was nothing there. Other times there was a flicker in the static, and she would swear she saw a shape move within it, a wisp of what looked like hair, then nothing. It was probably just a bad connection somewhere. Maybe it needed to be tuned. Her father had been an engineer, and she had inherited his tools and his knowledge. Well, some of it anyway. Still, she was sure that she could figure it out, that she could make it right. She knew the man who lived across the hall had a rabbit ear antenna. She was mesmerized by the darkness. She felt something brush against her leg and she flinched. Then she heard a voice right behind her. Startled, she whirled around and saw nothing there. Had she imagined it? Was it really the ghost? She wished she could turn away, but she couldn't seem to take her eyes off the set. It was like it had cast a spell on her. She was trapped. She tried everything she could think of to stop it. The static on the screen suddenly flared to life, washing over her in a wave of white light. It smiled at her. "Hello," it said. "My name is Hope. Do you want to play a game with me?" She shielded her eyes, then peeked through her fingers. She didn't want to look away, but she was afraid to look directly at Hope either. But it was Hope. It was just a girl named Hope. The static was swirling, taking shape. It stretched and twisted, forming a face. One night she muted the TV. The ghost kept talking. She unplugged the television set. It laughed at her. Ass. She yanked the coax cable out of the wall and it howled like a wounded animal. But every morning when the sun came up, the static cleared and the ghost was gone. She was sitting in the same place, but Hope was gone. Hope whispered. She pushed at Hope, but it was like pushing against a wall. She threw her arms wildly, knocking over the end table. She couldn't free herself from Hope's grasp. Then she remembered the axe. It was in the kitchen. She lunged forward. She grabbed the axe and raced back to the living room. Tossing it through the air, she brought it down on the television set again and again and again. The screen shattered, spraying glass across the room, but there was still a faint glow coming from behind it, knocking Hope off balance. She scrambled off the couch and ran for the kitchen. She could hear Hope screaming at her to come back, but she didn't. She couldn't. She was too afraid. If she could just get to the kitchen, if she could grab the axe and smash the TV, maybe then Hope would finally be gone. Sending the lamp crashing to the floor, it didn't even make a sound. "We can play again. We can be friends. You won't be lonely anymore." She saw that the glow was coming from the reflection in the window. She turned slowly and saw the face staring back at her. It was Hope, but it was different now. Her skin was gray and stretched tight over her bones. Her eyes were black and empty. She was emaciated like she hadn't eaten in months. Static had cleared, and there was nothing on the screen but snow. Yet she could feel Hope's presence beside her, cold and clammy like a corpse. She could feel her breath on her neck and hear her soft, raspy voice whispering in her ear. He always got better reception than she did with her giant dish. The static swirled and pulsed, then receded once more. Hope's face vanished. "It's my turn now," she said. "Close your eyes and don't move," the voice cracked. "But you heard me." Then she heard a soft giggle. Something brushed against her cheek and she gasped. She felt something wet trickle down her neck. Then she heard Hope's voice close to her ear. "Can open your eyes now." She sat there frozen, staring at the screen, afraid to move, afraid to breathe, afraid to look away. She tried to move, but her limbs felt heavy and unresponsive. She strained to sit up, but Hope pressed down on her shoulders, keeping her pinned to the couch. It was like a nightmare. It's like a bad dream that she couldn't wake up from. Then she remembered the dead television set. She wasn't sure if it was real or not, but she didn't want to risk finding out. The screen was still black, but now the room seemed different. The furniture had shifted somehow. The walls were closer, the ceiling lower. It was as if the room itself was shrinking around her. What if it was? What if this time there was a face on the screen? What if it reached out and touched her? What if it pulled her in? Maybe she should call him, see if he could help her. Then it started speaking. The old television set was temperamental, but it was certainly getting worse lately. Every night it grew more insistent, more desperate. Calling her name over and over again, promising her things if she would just listen, and she did listen. That was the worst part. She was an insomniac, and the nights were long. There wasn't much else to do but sit there, staring at the TV and waiting for the sun to come up. The ghost was back, she thought, even though she was certain that there never actually had been one. Or maybe it was all in her head. She told herself it was just the television acting up, that there was nothing there, that no one was trying to get out. But still she felt a chill run down her spine. Whenever the static coalesced into a face and spoke her name, either way it had started again. It had begun subtly, like a low rumble under the hiss of the analog tuner. At first the words were jumbled and hard to understand, but each time it came back, it was clearer than before. And so she listened to the whispers, and she watched the shadows dance in the snow. There was nothing wrong with the TV set, she told herself, except maybe the fact that it was old, and the picture tube was failing.
But she didn't want to admit that she couldn't fix it herself. It was just a television set.
It's just a television set with a ghost in it. Then one night the static went to black. She wanted to scream, but she couldn't make a sound.
The voice spoke again, closer now. "Hello," it said. "Is anyone there?" Turning slowly, she looked toward the television set. "Who's there?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "I'm here," the voice replied. "I've been here a long time. No one ever listens to me. They never hear me." "How did you get in the TV?" she asked. "How did you become a ghost?" In here, the voice whispered. "I'm in here." The face on the TV was beautiful. Eyes and rosy cheeks and long flowing hair. Hope. Of course her name was Hope. All this time she'd been thinking it was a ghost, a trapped spirit that was trying to break free. "What kind of game?" she asked, still shielding her eyes from the screen. "Let me show you," Hope said, her voice echoing strangely. She did as she was told, squeezing her eyes shut and pressing her back against the couch. Cautiously, she cracked one eye open, then the other. "Did you like that game? Would you like to play again sometime?" She wanted to speak, but no sound came out. She had to be dreaming, she thought. Otherwise, the TV wouldn't be on. Don't go yet. She had to get away. Still, with a surge of adrenaline, when she got to the kitchen, as the final shards fell away, she reached out a finger and tapped against the glass. "I'm not in the TV," Hope whispered. "I'm behind you."